All right, perfect. So let me start. Let me begin. Since we had no sound, there was just a technical difficulty that I fixed. It looks like we've got that. So sorry about that, everyone. So if there was no sound, I want to make sure that I sort of go over the things that we had just covered. So if you are just joining, anything said is not financial advice. If you any of the statements should not be viewed as any forward-looking statements. Anything you do in crypto, you should talk with your tax or financial professional. If you are new to BankX, BankX is the first cryptocurrency to pay you interest for minting a stablecoin, and you mint the stablecoin by basically locking up the native blockchain token and the BankX token, and then that interest or rewards is paid in the form of more BankX tokens when you uh, send in the stablecoin and redeem your collateral along with the interest. So we also have the ability where you can lock up BankX to earn more BankX. So the longer you do this and the more BankX you do, the more you get. We have an NFT that pays you stablecoin at certain total value locked or TVL milestones of the system. And the NFT also boosts your rewards over and above what you would normally get in the token lockup rewards. So you can learn more about BankX after this BankX Boardroom episode 6 at our socials or website www.bankx.io, or YouTube is a great place where we have playlists that give progressively more information about BankX, where we have an explainer video, learn more, and then we go into a masterclass or deep dive about BankX. And then, of course, there's previous BankX boardrooms. So what I was covering is that before I get into updates and information about what we are doing now with marketing, I am in Los Angeles, and I was a part of the evacuation for the fires that everyone's talking about. And when you look at and do a little bit of research online, you'll see that they cut the funding for the fire department. They don't clear away brush. They didn't test the fire hydrants. The reservoirs weren't full of water. There's reports of arsons everywhere. And then you look at something called Smart LA 2028, where they want the Pacific Palisades to be a smart city under control of the government. And I bring this up because this is all driven because they can print endless money through the central bank. They can create wars. They can do all of these things for control of the people. And this is why BankX was developed, to be the counter to the CBDC or the central bank, where we have the individual created digital currency, which is where you operate on complete autonomy. You have the collateral, you mint the stable coin, you get the interest the entire time it's in circulation. You can do all these things within the system to achieve your personal goals. From a personal level, it was quite an exercise to grab everything out of your home within an hour, not knowing if you would be back. Luckily, the fire that was nearby was put out later that evening, and I was able to come back the next day. So we were dealing with that a bit last week. The other thing I wanted to talk a bit about is just the headache of storing silver and just dealing with physical silver. I do like it, and for years I've had silver in kilogram bars stored in a facility. So I had to pay for this facility. I had to pay insurance. If I wanted to either buy more or sell silver, which I just did recently, you have to travel to that location, find a buyer, ship it to them, and wait for payment. And it was just I hadn't done that in a very long time, and it's quite it's a lot of work to do. And so I think we bring the best of both worlds with cryptocurrency and the idea of physical silver, in that we are a stable coin that's pegged to the price of 1 gram of silver, yet we are crypto backed, so you don't have to deal with storing silver, insurance, doing the insurance on it, paying for it, and then if you want to convert into anything else, you don't have to find a buyer and do all of that. So those were two sort of personal things that I think relate to BankX that I wanted to bring up. Um, we have been working through the holidays, and now we have quite a number of updates as far as what we're doing from a development perspective and marketing. So there's been a couple, before I get into that, there's been a couple questions about BankX, like why do you deploy on all chains? As we've always said with BankX, is that it is a stablecoin platform. We'll have our own decentralized apps, a bridge, a wallet, and it'll have its own separate blockchain that is not connected to the internet, which we've always talked about this larger vision where all of this would work together. One of the other things I think is interesting sort of over the last month since we've had the last BankX boardroom is the idea of the integrated protocol-owned liquidity system where people don't just provide liquidity, they sell liquidity and it permanently becomes a part of the system. So where you would see, let's say a cryptocurrency is running up, I would think that as you got into those higher price levels of a cryptocurrency, that people may not be willing to end up with that crypto at that higher price, so they could pull liquidity at higher prices. Where with our system, the liquidity is there throughout the entire system, completely controlled and operated by the system of contracts with BankX. So that's just something I wanted to mention as you look at other sort of systems where you're providing liquidity and doing things like that. So as far as updates, we are in the process of doing some enhancements and fixes to certain areas of the system that we found, and around mostly making the mint and redeem much more accurate to the number of XSD that you either mint or redeem. So that's underway, and I think we'll be done that this week. We're about to complete an entirely new web design for the BankX website, and it is leaps forward as far as you sort of look and feel, and sort of I think brings the look of BankX much more up to date. So we'll be pushing that out, I think, over the next 10 to 14 days. I'm hoping, so you can look out for that. We, on a smaller note, we are finalizing the calculations for auto slippage. So that idea that the UI would give you sort of the nearest slippage that would go through, but not doing too much slippage that you lose those tokens. So our mathematician had to travel for the next 2 weeks, but he's pretty much done with that. So that I think will be also in place in January. We are also finalizing the bridge requirements. I think that'll be done tomorrow, and the development will begin on that. So if you recall from last BankX boardrooms, the idea that exclusively to XSD only, you would be able to bridge the XSD token from one chain to another, but you can only leave a chain where the XSD token is below the peg and go to a chain where it is above the peg. So it is further price stabilization for the XSD stablecoin. So if you have a chain where it's below the peg, by bridging, you're actually decreasing the supply of XSD on that chain. And then you're only moving to a chain where XSD is above the peg, effectively increasing that supply. And then if you sell on that chain, it's technically a profit because you're above the peg. And so that would be another sort of method to help bring it to the peg when it's below, and then bring it down when it's above the peg on the other chain. So it's this cross-chain price stabilization for the XSD stablecoin. We've also are near the finalization of requirements for our own blockchain that I spoke about, where it's in this network that's not connected to the internet that we've always talked about. So I suspect over the next 2 weeks that development will also begin. So we have a lot going on. I have multiple teams working on what we're we will be building here over 2025 for BankX. This next release that we push out targeted this week, I'm also adding on the NFT referral program. So when you get your referral link and refer someone that purchased the NFT, you get 10% of the total sales of what that of your of the person that you refer purchases in the NFT. And that is all done by the smart contract where it's paid directly to your wallet at the time of sales. So what we want to do is try to incentivize people to get influencers that would also talk about the NFT and try to get people to purchase that through the referral program. So when you refer someone that clicks on your link, it's stored in our system, and they don't need to purchase the NFT, but if they refer someone, you also get 5% of that. So it's sort of this second level to the referral program where you don't need a purchaser to actually go and refer someone. And you don't even need to be an NFT owner to participate in the NFT referral program. So that's another thing that we're pushing out. And one of the other things I was sort of playing with was taking off of what the smartest man alive said about he thought that aliens were running the banks. So we had AI generate lizard overlords. So we had episode 1 push out. So I want to, if people like that, I'll keep having AI generate that for us. We'll have an episode 2 sort of later this month. So if you like that, share it. It's a way to make fun of the current legacy banking system and all the sort of anti, individual things that they've been doing, and sort of get attention to BankX. And so it's just more of a fun thing that we've been doing. So from a marketing perspective, we'll be doing back to the regular live streaming, but I will be guest appearing on X Spaces, and then also hosting X Spaces, where we would bring guests in. And obviously crypto Twitter is very big. We want people to know and talk about and bring more people through that social channel. So the first one that we'll do on BankX will be this Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So Johnny, a member of our community, has gotten some people that are going to be joining. So if you know people that like to join, either talk about AI, crypto, we have the most pro-freedom, pro-crypto president that's going to be taking office in 6 days. So there is just lots going on, lots to talk about. What is he going to do with stablecoins? I think he's going to set up very pro-stablecoin regulation, which I think could somewhat absorb dollar-backed stablecoins in the current financial system. So we will see, after this 4 years, what really happens with dollar pegged and backed stablecoins. I think that would be more kind of falling into being potentially converted to a CBDC. So the general point is we want to talk about what is going to be happening in crypto, stablecoins, AI, all of the things that are going to be sort of big discussion points as Trump takes office next Monday, and throughout what we think is going to be a very good year for crypto in general. So please leave in the comments if you know anybody that'd like to join, or you can @ me, either on X or Telegram or wherever. Leave a comment on that. So again, that's the X Space on Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific on @BankX.io. And I'm considering doing them a couple a week, maybe even on Sunday. But since the inauguration is Monday, I'm thinking that we might want to do an inauguration day X Space where, be a little longer and we can have people come in and talk about what's going on. I'm also going to be building a small team that pushes things out to social media, helping to get the word out about that. So that's underway. If you follow Fabian on his podcast, he has a very successful political podcast. They've had millions and millions of views. It's called Breakaway USA. If you saw this morning, I interviewed with them. So We'll be doing a lot of things with Breakaway USA because we look at the people that listen to him as far as Trump followers is really pro freedom and obviously pro crypto people. So we want them to know about BankX. So what we have done is Fabian and his team with Breakaway are spending a month in Washington, D.C. to interview all the key figureheads of crypto and the new Trump administration, and he will be there for the inauguration. So I think he was there. He went there Saturday, and I think he's there till about February 10th or so. I will be going there the last week in January to do content with him about BankX, and I believe that's going to be an interview at the Heritage Foundation. So they're still booking that, but so hopefully that works out. So that is the beginning of the marketing efforts, and then we'll announce things as we put those in place. So I think one of the things that we'll talk about on the X Spaces on Thursday is this whole idea of AI. I'm going to be pushing out the DeFi 3+ white paper. Years ago, I predicted all of this would be happening. So that is a great sort of white paper if you want to look at kind of the progression of crypto. And then I get into what happens in the future. And I think we're starting to see where I was right with that. If you've also heard me talk about is this whole idea of version 2 of BankX. So to give a little more light onto that, we've looked at calling that BankX Treasury, where you could either deposit crypto funds or deposit XSD. And then it would use AI agents to generate money within the BankX system. So for instance, if XSD is below the peg, it would automatically buy it and then wait for it to get to peg, and then you're in the profit area. Or it could do any of the number of things that you learn about BankX, where you can make a margin by helping the system keep XSD at peg, and just all the things that you can do. And that would be done through AI and a system that a lot of things that we're seeing within BankX now. I think there also could be a system, because it's wild what's happening with AI, with Infinite Backroom and Truth Terminal, where it's basically looked at like, what can I do? I mean, there's things where it's like creating a religion, it's created a token, it's constantly out there posting on X. And I think it made something like 30 million or something. I mean, it's just it's wild. So we could even have BankX marketing AI agents that are constantly interacting with new people on 4chan, Reddit, X, like all of those things. So it's a big area that we could go into with BankX. So I'd like to hear from the community if that's a direction you'd like to see. And it would be under this umbrella of sort of version 2 of BankX, where you have sort of this treasury AI, marketing AI agent. We have a little bit of this on the website, where if you go into the bottom right, there's a chat box, and that's all AI driven, where you can ask a question about BankX and it uses our doc section to answer it back to you. So I was just sort of playing like, what makes BankX different? It listed all the things. It did a very good job about that. So I think what I'll do is I will save the sort of AI discussion potentially for Twitter Space for people that like to join there. But this was to catch everybody up after the holidays. I was traveling on the East Coast and been back for a while, but I would have done sort of a BankX Boardroom last week, but it was a bit of turmoil with the fires here in Los Angeles. So again, if you know people that like to join our X Spaces, or you think I would be a contributing guest to their X Spaces, please at me anywhere on socials, and we can get that set up. But for now, that is what I'd like to have updated everyone on BankX. So we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.